And now, if you don't mind, we're going to get to the news. President Trump attended an event yesterday honoring the 250th anniversary of the Navy, despite being famously bad around water. During his speech yesterday at the Naval Station Norfolk to celebrate the 250th anniversary of the Navy, President Trump said that he has to be careful walking downstairs because, quote, one day I'm going to probably fall. Apparently, there was some mix-up, and his speech got switched with my Nana's. During the same speech, President Trump apparently couldn't remember the name of his own book and said, quote, whatever the hell the title, I can't tell you. No, you got it right. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth helped break the Guinness World Record for most people doing push-ups simultaneously for 1 minute over the weekend at a Navy football game. Hegseth also holds the Guinness World Record for most Guinness. President Trump last night appealed a federal judge's order blocking him from sending National Guard troops to Portland, Oregon. Oh my God, they don't want you there. What's the National Guard even gonna do in Portland? Join a throuple? In a post yesterday on Truth Social, President Trump said that the FCC should, quote, look into NBC's broadcast license. Well, I'm not surprised. He's been pretty clear about how much he hates Chicago. Television host Bill Nye demonstrated outside the U.S. Capitol today to protest the Trump administration's proposal to cut 47% of NASA's science budget because without science, he's just Bill Nye, the guy. The U.S. Treasury announced last week it will release a silver dollar with President Trump's image on both sides of the coin. Looks like we got a bunch of people going to order it. Also, it's heads on both sides, so we can't even use it to decide which country to move to. Okay, heads, it's Portugal. Oh, no. In a post over the weekend on Truth Social, President Trump claimed that no business or individual wants to be in New York State because of Attorney General Letitia James. Yes, that's my one complaint about New York. There's nobody here. President Trump posted a video on Truth Social last week that appears to show a strike on a boat allegedly carrying drugs off the coast of Venezuela. Officials claim the boat was loaded with over 30 kilos of Tylenol. Organizers in Denver hosted a Taco Bell Ultra Marathon where participants stop and eat at 9 Taco Bell locations over a 31-mile course and must order a Chalupa Supreme by the 4th stop and an ambulance by the 5th. The pharmacy chain Rite Aid announced last week that it has officially closed all of its locations. Oh, tough break for the thousands of customers who are still in line. And finally, the bathroom tissue brand Charmin has introduced a new forever roll of toilet paper, which is a 12-inch roll with 1,700 sheets. Still not enough, said whoever won that Taco Bell marathon. The Nobel Prize winners are set to be announced this week. Oh, that's gonna put them in a good mood. Maybe time to batten down the hatches, Portland. That's right, the winner of the Nobel Peace Prize is set to be announced on Friday. And look, I know he doesn't deserve it, but can you just give it to him? It's all he wants, and I honestly think he'll spend the rest of his life admiring it in the mirror and we'll just never see him again. President Trump said this weekend that Republican politicians are tired of Fox News trying to be so, quote, politically correct. Yeah, that's Fox News' problem. Too politically correct. The original name for Fox and Friends was Three Dudes and a Broad. In a post over the weekend on Truth Social, President Trump argued that his administration has to fix media bias against Republican politicians. Dude, how many times do you have to win before you stop complaining? This is like if the '92 Dream Team complained about the refs. During his speech this week to celebrate the 250th anniversary of the Navy, President Trump thanked a group of women who have been to more than 100 of his rallies. He also thanked the woman who has been to 2. In a post on Sunday on Truth Social, President Trump criticized NBC and said that the FCC should, quote, look into the network's broadcast license. Yeah, apparently, they once let a guy with 6 corporate bankruptcies give business advice. President Trump posted photos of Democratic leaders on Truth Social last week with the caption, "The Party of Hate, Evil, and Satan," to which Chuck Schumer responded, "Don't forget bipartisanship." In a post last week on Truth Social, President Trump said that anyone caught burning the American flag will face 1 year in prison, even though fire isn't the worst thing that can happen to a flag. When he walked away, the flag said, "Burn me! Burn me!" And finally, Burger King has begun offering a new monster menu, which includes the Jack-O-Lantern Whopper, Vampire Nuggets, Mummy Mozzarella Fries, and the Franken Candy Sundae. Even spookier, if you eat them all, you get one of these. When asked in a new interview about Bad Bunny hosting the Super Bowl halftime show, President Trump said, quote, "I don't know who he is." Yeah, that's all right. You're 79. You're not supposed to know who Bad Bunny is. When someone says Bad Bunny, this is the picture that should pop into your head. He's been very rude to Elmer Fudd. House Speaker Mike Johnson said yesterday that it was a terrible decision to select rapper Bad Bunny as the Super Bowl halftime show and added that they should have picked God Bless the USA singer Lee Greenwood. You mean this guy? Dude. If I wanted to watch an 82-year-old man sing the only song he knows, I'd go to karaoke night at the retirement home. President Trump returned on Monday to TikTok. Great news for anybody who likes their TikToks 75 minutes long. In a post this week on TikTok, President Trump addressed the, quote, "young people of TikTok." Dude, again, you're 79. They're all young people to you. You're so old, you could have addressed the young people of Facebook. During an Oval Office meeting yesterday with Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney, President Trump said the U.S. and Canada have, quote, "natural conflict." Yeah, it's been going on for a while now. Hopefully they'll work that conflict out. During a press conference on Monday, President Trump told reporters that he wants to be good to prove to God that he is worthy of going to heaven. Okay, but you're not gonna know anybody there. "Hi, what's your name? Mahatma Gandhi? I'm gonna call you Mike." President Trump met yesterday with his national security team. Apparently, Eric made it past the fence. President Trump told reporters on Sunday that Portland, Oregon is, quote, "burning to the ground." According to sources, people are even dying of dysentery. That was the night. This is the night for an Oregon Trail trip. 30 paintings by artist Bob Ross are set to go up for auction next month, and the proceeds will benefit public television stations, including this very rare self-portrait. Today was the 80th anniversary of the first patent for the microwave. To celebrate, they had a cake that was scorching hot on the outside and ice cold in the middle. And finally, 3 scientists today won the Nobel Prize in Chemistry, and once again, coming in last, these two. During a cabinet meeting today, President Trump claimed that infants receive, quote, "massive vaccines that are twice the size of a jar like that," and gestured to a glass of water. What are you talking about? Did you see someone basting a turkey and get confused? During the same meeting, Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. said that taking Tylenol while pregnant may cause autism and added, quote, "we're doing the studies to make the proof." So you're just making the accusation first and then creating the evidence. That's not how you do science. That's how you frame someone for murder. When asked during a White House roundtable event yesterday if he would consider naming Antifa, an international terrorist organization, President Trump said, quote, "sounds good to me, and I think it's a bad sign that the President of the United States responds to policy proposals the same way you'd respond if someone said, 'should we get some fries?'" When asked yesterday if he would consider suspending habeas corpus to fight crime, President Trump asked the reporter, quote, "suspending who?" Probably because he doesn't know what habeas corpus is. And definitely because he was picturing a Roman gladiator fighting crime. During yesterday's roundtable event, President Trump criticized CNN and added that the network is, quote, dying like a dog. Well, that's one way to get Kristi Noem to watch. Yeah, oh, look, everybody remembers. Everybody remembers. They all remember what you did. The pizza chain Domino's announced yesterday that will undergo its first brand refresh in 13 years and will release new employee uniforms and pizza boxes. Yeah, that's what everyone's been complaining about. No. Well, it tastes great. I just hate their uniforms. According to a new survey, men are more likely to regret how much they're spending on their wedding, while women are more likely to regret marrying a cheap bastard. According to a new survey, nearly half of engaged couples said that they considered eloping after adding up their wedding expenses. Well, speaking for your potential wedding guests, do it! Nobody wants to spend another Saturday morning trying to get a hotel iron to work. The National Book Award finalists were announced this week and include a novel that takes place in a room between life and death. So I'm guessing Florida? And finally, authorities in Florida recently released body cam footage of two sisters from New Jersey getting arrested after they allegedly attacked a Frontier Airlines gate agent who said they were too intoxicated to board their flight. They tried to rebook them on a Spirit flight, but they weren't that drunk. In a new interview, CNN anchor Caitlin Collins said that President Trump is, quote, such an accessible president. I know, isn't it great? Said this guy. In the same interview, CNN anchor Caitlin Collins said that President Trump does not sleep. You mean at night? Because otherwise I gotta fact check you. During a press conference on Monday, President Trump said it's important to allow AI companies to build their own power plants rather than siphon energy off the regional grid, and added, quote, our grid is so old and tired. Yeah, we'd hate for something old and tired to be running things. The restaurant chain Razzo's Cajun Cafe has filed for bankruptcy. Well, I'm no business expert, but what probably happened here was nobody ever heard of it. Not Razzo's. Where should we get our takeout gumbo? A woman recently won a video game tournament in Florida just 5 days after giving birth, and frankly, I'm more impressed that someone who's that good at video games had sex. 3 men were recently rescued from a cave in England after they were stuck for more than 30 hours. Even crazier, they didn't realize it was a cave. They just thought it was a pub with terrible service. Oi! IKEA has announced plans to build a small format store in Manhattan that will be 25,000 square feet. No word yet on when it'll open. It's got like a jillion pieces, and all they give you is like one tiny Allen wrench. And finally, Starbucks has unveiled its holiday menu, which includes a new polar bear cake pop and cinnamon pull-apart bread, while Dunkin' has introduced their new bacon, egg, and reindeer. And that